The three dragons refer to three members of the Peking Opera School's Seven Little Fortunes, a performance troupe consisting of the China Drama Academy's most capable students. They were Jackie Chan, Sammo Hung, and Yuen Biao. Jackie, of course, would go on to be one of the biggest stars to come out of Hong Kong. Sammo Hung, in addition to being a great martial artist in his own right, will become one of the genre's most prolific and talented choreographers and directors. Yuen Biao unfortunately never got the recognition he deserved, and in my opinion is extremely underrated. But he did star in films like Sammo Hung's The Prodigal Son, often considered one of the best films of the genre, Corey Yun's cult classic Righting Wrongs, where he co-starred alongside Cynthia Rothrock, Alfred Cheung's On the Run, where he turned in a very solid, serious performance, and played a supporting role in Shui Hark's Once Upon a Time in China. They also co-starred together alongside other members of the Seven Little Fortunes in Sammo Hung's Lucky Stars films. At the height of their fame during the 80s, they co-starred in 3 films together where they all played the main leads. The first of these projects was Project A, directed by Chan himself. The plot of Project A concerns a group of Marines who want to take down a group of pirates terrorizing vessels in Hong Kong. Chan portrays a lieutenant focused on bringing down the pirates. Biao plays a police captain who is at first at odds with Chan's character and the rest of the Marines, but in the end they work together alongside a crafty thief played by Sammo Hung to take down the villains. The film is a very fun ride from start to finish, featuring hilarious moments and great set pieces like the bar fight, the bike chase, and of course the clock tower stunt, which was a reference to Harold Lloyd's Safety Last. A stunt Chan himself performed 3 times before he was happy with it. Of course, the biggest highlight is seeing Chan, Biao, and Hung work alongside each other. The chemistry between these 3 actors, both in terms of comedy and martial arts, is such an awesome thing to see. The film was released in 1983 and was a huge success all over. The film unfortunately got a rather poor release from Dimension Films, which replaced all the sound effects and gave it a lousy dub. Even the cover they used is lackluster. It's already bad when Yuen Biao isn't even on the cover, and I swear studios from the 90s used like the same 3 stock faces for Jackie in all their DVD covers. And this image of Sammo Hung sure as hell ain't from the film. I don't know, maybe it's from martial law. The film ended up getting a sequel 4 years later, supposedly due to the Empire of Japan loving the original so much. Project A Part 2 unfortunately lacks Biao and Hung, who were busy at the time filming Eastern Condors. But the film does bring in other Jackie Chan alumni, including Maggie Cheung and Bill Tung. Despite the lack of 2 of the original stars, Project A Part 2 is still very much a fun and exciting martial arts film, and another great movie from Jackie Chan. A year later, the 3 would team up again for Wheels on Meals, a martial arts comedy directed by Sammo Hung that has something of a funny history with its name. Originally, the film was going to be called Meals on Wheels, but a superstitious Golden Harvest producer got cold feet after 2 prior films starting with M in their titles underperformed, so the change was made. Jackie Chan plays the straight man of the group, Thomas, usually the voice of reason and the one who has to deal with the repercussions of the actions of his friends. Yuen Biao plays the well-meaning yet love-struck and a bit naive David. He's probably the funniest character here. And Sammo Hung plays Moby, a newly promoted detective who's more than a bit over his head. The plot has Thomas and David running a food truck in Barcelona, Spain, who see their lives get turned upside down when the mysterious and beautiful Sylvia, played by former Miss Spain Lola Forner, enters their lives. She's adept at pickpocketing and getting into trouble, and despite this, David is head over heels for her, much to Thomas's dismay. Meanwhile, Moby gets promoted to head detective in an agency after his boss goes on the lam, and he's tasked with finding a woman and her daughter. Of course, the 2 stories meet, as Moby has something of a strained friendship with Thomas and David, and hilarity and spectacular action ensue. It's a very silly movie, but that just makes it all the more charming. This plot would not have worked under any other team, but the actors here all play very well off each other and the situations, so nothing feels like it drags or feels off. Compared to Project A, this feels more like a straight-up comedy film, but that isn't a detriment at all because it is all pulled off so very well. Of course there's great stunts and set pieces galore, from the fight with the thugs in the town square, to the car chase across town, and of course the end castle infiltration that leads to spectacular fights between Jackie Chan and Benny the Jet Urquidez, and Yuen Biao and Keith Vitale. My personal choice for the recommended version of this film, because there are a few, is the Golden Harvest English dub. Yes, I said the English dub. This generally seems to be the preferred cut, as it has a great fun score by Keith Morrison, which you get to hear the fantastic Spartan X theme song in this. And you also get generally a very charming dub. Yes, the accents for the European characters are totally exaggerated and really silly, but it all works. It's not bad like the dubs you'd hear from Miramax or Dimension. Of course, you could always go for that new hybrid dub that gives you the Cantonese dialogue with the soundtrack from the English language dub from Golden Harvest. Personally, I haven't been able to see it for myself, but you could find it on the Eureka release, as well as fan-constructed versions available on certain sites. The film would go on to be a huge success, especially in Japan where it went under the title of Spartan X. Japan eventually adapted the film into its own super hit video game under the same title. Internationally it would be known as Kung Fu Master. The film also inspired a comic book series in the late 90s. Wheels on Meals not only is a great martial arts film, but a great comedy as well. It's such a great, feel-good martial arts movie, and it has such endless rewatch value. 1988 saw the final collaboration thus far of the three brothers, Dragons Forever, directed by Sammo Hung and Birthday Yuen. The film concerns a defense attorney and ladies' man played by Chan trying to help his client, who unbeknownst to him is a villainous drug lord, not be successfully sued by the owner of fishery, whose plant he is polluting. He employs his arms dealer friend played by Sammo Hung to woo the fishery owner, Miss Yip, to try and convince her to settle out of court. Chan also brings in a strange inventor and professional criminal, played by Yuen Biao, to bug her apartment. Unfortunately, the two friends Chan hires are unaware of each other, and this leads to conflict. And things get more complicated when Chan finds himself falling for the prosecution witness, who is also Miss Yip's cousin. Part of what makes this film so great is that we get a lot better balance of shared screen time between the three leads, which means a lot more fun and antics. In terms of screen time, Project A felt like it was either Chan and Biao or Chan and Hung until the very end. Wheels on Meals balanced it a bit better, but Dragons Forever, in my opinion, strikes the best balance of screen sharing. Another thing that makes this stand out is the actors playing against the type we've often seen them in the prior two films. Sammo Hung is a bit more of a trickster here than before, and plays someone who is totally head over heels and will stop at nothing to win his love interest over. Chan plays probably the most far-moved of all, a total ladies' man and playboy lawyer who falls for his would-be enemy in the courtroom. By the end, he's willing to do anything to get with the witness he falls in love with. Biao plays a criminal who has a bit of a creepy edge to him, and he may not be alright in the head considering all the things that he does in the film.
偷聽器入屋啊！裝偷聽器咁冇道德嘅嘢，你都去做？不如我揾把刀行喺佢條頸度，叫佢講晒啲嘢俾你聽咪仲好？
But he's still lovable here and always a blast to see. He's the only one here without a love interest. Coincidentally, he's also the most fun and interesting out of the three main characters here. That's not to say the others are bad. In fact, Sammo Hung in particular is really interesting in this role. We're used to seeing him in more comedic and martial arts centric scenes in the first two films, that to see him work so hard for his love interest to return his feelings is so against expectations. There is one scene in particular I quite like. It involves him following Miss Yip in public while he asks her to give him a chance over a microphone.
你走啊！我會一直喺你後面跟住你㗎啦。追女仔唔係講理論嘅，係講行動嘅。我知你點諗㗎？你係咪真係想睇下我係咪唔見到你唔走啊嘛？我話咗不見不散就係不見不散。就算你對我冇信心啊，你應該對自己有信心啊。你唔覺得自己做個好？
This scene has always really stood out to me. I've seen some people call it a bit sappy, but honestly, within the context of the film, I find it really sweet. I'm not sure if this is influenced from another film, but I think it's a really good scene. I think it also does a great job of showing how great a performer Sammo Hung is.
Yeah.
你冇腦嘅，有頭髮都做瘌痢啊！大家大項扮傻佬，我唔識你啊！
咁我哋去邊度食飯啊？
你話去邊咪去邊咯！
我哋而家去食飯啦，唔該謝一謝，唔該謝一謝，我哋而家去食飯啦。
All of them play these roles very well, and as expected, the chemistry, both acting-wise and combat-wise, is an absolute joy to see on screen. As expected, we also get to see some amazing action sequences. We get to see Biao display some of his greatest acrobatics and martial arts of the Three Dragons films, and we get to see a rematch between Jackie Chan and Benny the Jet Urquidez. Part of me can't help but feel a little bit sad whenever I watch Dragons Forever. Maybe it's because I know that this is the last time Hung, Biao, and Chan got to be in a movie together as the leads, but I can't deny that Dragons Forever is a fun and great movie, and one that I would absolutely recommend anyone watch, both martial arts fans and fans of the Three Dragons. You can tell the three brothers tried to go for a film that was much different than Project A and Wheels on Meals, in terms of tone, content, and characters they portrayed. And while I'm sure some found the differences off-putting, I just think that adds to how great and unique the film is. Dragons Forever is also really interesting to look at in the context of the other Three Dragons collaborations and how the actors have changed and evolved. Project A combines action, comedy, and adventure while homaging classics from the silent era. Wheels on Meals is a lot more comedic, but also has aspects that echo of Three Musketeers type adventure. And Dragons Forever has the three playing really different types of characters than the audience is used to seeing them in, while also bringing in a lot more romance to the mix. Although the films aren't a trilogy in the sense that they have the same characters and continuity, you can really see a progression in how the actors' style, both in terms of their performances and characters they play, evolve, and how they try to do more and more different things as each of the movies go on. So of all the Three Dragons films, which is my favorite? Well, while Project A is a great adventure film with solid direction by Chan, and Dragons Forever is not only a solid martial arts film, but it is super interesting to see the lead actors play so well against type. I gotta be honest, Wheels on Meals is far and away my favorite of the films. I love all three, but Wheels on Meals is such a great, fun, feel-good movie, and I can't help but smile every time I see it. It is the film that really made me fall in love with the three brothers. And while Police Story was certainly the film that really got me into exploring Chan's Hong Kong work, Wheels on Meals led me to explore the other great stars of Golden Harvest. Unfortunately, the Three Dragons have never done another film together since 1988. Of course, they have collaborated with each other several more times. We got to see Hung and Biao together in Eastern Condors, Hung got a brief but great cameo in Chan's American production of Around the World in 80 Days, and we got to see Chan and Biao together in Rob B. Hood. But unfortunately, not all three at once. Personally, I would honestly love to see them come together again for another film. I know Chan's films of late have been a bit hit or miss, but I think in the right director's hands, possibly a task fit for Sammo Hung, there was another great Three Dragons film waiting to be made. And if that's not the case, well, we still have three great films with them all together. Films that remain some of the most fun and lovable entries in the Golden Harvest library.